Hey everybody. Today I want to talk about container gardening, and that is growing vegetables in containers. Last year I did a very small video or short video on growing tomatoes in containers, and today I want to go a little bit more in depth. To begin with, what are the reasons we would want to grow in containers? Well, one of the reasons would be our soil. Our soil so poor that gardens do very poorly in them, and the cost to make the amendments needed to bring that soil up to par would be a little bit high. And the next reason is that we don't have a lot of acreage to plow up and plant in gardens. So one of the solutions to those two problems is to use containers. Now when you start thinking about the containers, think about the vegetable you want to plant in that container. Just about all of the varieties of vegetables now can be planted in containers, with the exception of corn, and I'll talk about corn in just a minute, and that's sweet corn. This container is a container that minerals for cattle come in. My local feed and seed sells these to cattle ranchers, and they bring them back, and then she turns around and gives them to gardeners. So you can see I have drilled holes in the container. We've got to have good drainage. So if we wanted to plant tomatoes, for instance, we would need a container about this size. It is about 20 inches deep and about 20 inches diameter. The reason for that is because the root system of a tomato plant is going to be deeper or longer than, for instance, a bell pepper. So that's why we want to think about our root system when we're choosing our container. Radishes or lettuces would take a smaller depth. You could probably do that around 6 inches, maybe even 4 inches. Now going to the sweet corn, there are now sweet corn varieties that are bred specifically to be grown in containers. I have picked up about 4 of the different varieties, and we'll try those out this spring and over the summer and see how they work out, and I'll let y'all know about that. So we're ready to plant our container, and like I said, you have your holes drilled in. I like to use coffee filters to cover these holes on the inside. The reason I like to use the coffee filters is that they will hold the soil in place, and the soil will not clog my holes, causing my drainage to become bad. So I place my coffee filters in, and then I'm ready to place my soil in. So the soil that you want to use a really good topsoil. And even if it's a good topsoil, I would still want to add some organic matter to it. Organic matter just adds a little bit more to the tilth. It will help to break up any clay particles in there. Your drainage will be a little bit better. Just adds a little bit more to the plant. The plants really love their organic matter. You can now get soils for garden raised beds. I'm sitting out in the middle of my raised beds now. From the big box stores, and there's nothing wrong with those. Just watch them and make sure they don't get too packy. You may need to add some organic matter at the beginning or even over time. And one other thing about the coffee filters I forgot to mention, try not to get or don't get biodegradable coffee filters. Obviously when they degrade and they're no longer there, your soil can clog the holes. So keep all of this in mind as you're thinking about growing in containers. And it can be done, and it can be done very easily. Now if I were going to grow something like cucumbers or watermelon, cantaloupe, I would build a trellis for them to grow up instead of them growing on the ground. That can be a huge issue, especially when you need to mow. So just think about doing that also. Donna Lee, LSU Ag Center.